Kitchens like this have been a crucial safety net for those left destitute by Sudan's war. But after 17 months of violence, the volunteers who run them say dangers and a lack of funds are making it difficult to continue. The conflict between Sudan's military and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces has created the world's largest hunger and displacement crisis. In the northern countryside of Omdurman, beneficiary Hafiz Abdallah says families are completely dependent on this kitchen for all their meals.
If I didn't get a meal for any reason, I would be really affected as I cannot afford a meal for the children.
The backdrop is that international aid organisations, including the United Nations, have been struggling to get aid to those who need it most. Relief workers say both sides have deployed siege-like tactics to prevent food and other supplies reaching their opponents. Instead, international organisations have ramped up their support for community groups. However, 10 volunteers told Reuters that the groups have been turned into targets for looters from the RSF. Both sides have also attacked or detained volunteers on suspicion of collaborating with their opponents, 12 volunteers said.
They are on the front line.
Mathilde Vu is advocacy manager for the Norwegian Refugee Council. It began supporting local responders in Sudan last year.
They're being detained, they're being harassed, they're being looted. And, this is all part of the warring parties not respecting really the protection of civilians, right? And not also seeing that these people are a key chain of the humanitarian system. And under international humanitarian law, they should be protected. And frankly, they're not right now.
Many communal kitchens are operated by a loose network of community groups known as emergency response rooms. Both the Army and RSF distrust them. That's because they include people who were members of grassroots resistance committees that led pro-democracy protests in 2019. That uprising toppled former autocrat Omar al-Bashir. The army joined forces with the RSF to stage a military coup 2 years later, but rivalries between them erupted into open warfare in April 2023. Both the RSF and the Sudanese armed forces did not respond to requests for comment for this report. The RSF has previously denied targeting aid workers. It said any rogue elements who did so would be brought to justice. The military has also said it does not target aid workers. However, it says anyone who collaborates with the RSF is subject to arrest. A UN fact-finding mission has said that 65 cases tried by army-convened courts against alleged commanders and employees of the RSF as of June, 63 targeted activists and humanitarian workers. They include members of emergency response rooms, the mission said in its report. Meanwhile, hunger is spreading. UN officials say more than 25.6 million people, more than half Sudan's population, are experiencing acute hunger and need urgent assistance. Parts of the country are at risk of famine, and in the worst hit areas, residents have resorted to eating dirt and leaves. Emergency response rooms have set up 419 kitchens that aim to serve over 1 million people daily in Khartoum state alone. That's according to one state organiser, Abdallah Gamar. He said volunteers have struggled to secure the $1,175,000 needed every month. In September, he said they received around $614,000. At the kitchen in Omdurman, supervisor Hiba El Sanossi says they only receive a few donations. Aid is distributed by the government, she says, and most of it does not reach them. If just a part of this aid arrived, she says, we could serve the community better.